Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News with Kim and Lisa. This week, we are diving in to the Real Housewives of Orange County reunion part 1, which I actually got to watch with some of the most controversial housewives of the season.
This is so amazing, and I cannot wait to hear about it. Because while Tamara was on the defense and Gresham was in the hot seat, Kim was in the room, you guys, with Katie and Tamara, watching it all go down. And Kim, of course, I just have one question. What information did they leak to you?
I mean, you guys will never believe what they told me. No, I'm just kidding. I did not get leaked any information. I'm not leaking any information. They did recognize me and they called me out. They were like, blogger. And I was like, hey guys, I'm just here for the show. I'm not here to get information or get you guys in trouble. So I'll tell you guys a little bit more about what went down last night. And of course, we're going to share all of our thoughts about the reunion. But before we dive in, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more Bravo Breaking News. And if you are listening as a podcast, drop us a rating, drop us a review. We love to see it. And yeah, so let's get into it.
Okay, so tell us about last night. How did this come together, this watch party? Who was there? What was it like?
So I do have to say, I have to give props to Tamara and Katie because this was actually a very well executed event. I've been to some of the official Bravo watch parties that I paid money to go to, and this one was free. And I would say was actually better than the official Bravo watch parties. So that says something. I mean, there were vendors, there was food, there was drinks, there was plenty of space. And it was free. You didn't have to pay anything to go. I don't know what that says about Tamara and Katie. You know, if they did charge admission, would they have had the turnout that they had? I don't know, but it was a great turnout. A lot of people were there and everybody was kind of just like happy to be there.
So who put this on then, if it wasn't an official watch party?
It was Tamara and Katie. Tamara gave a shout out to Katie. I think Katie was actually the one who put it all together. It was at this kind of event venue in Orange County. I think it was like a golfing place actually, because on one side of the venue, they had like a little putt-putt area with like greens and like virtual like golfing, that big screen thing. Mm-hmm. But then the other side was like a lounge hangout vibe with a bar, food, and all of these couches and space to kind of eat, drink, sit, everything. I mean, it was great. It was fabulous. I got to give them props to that. Like I said, a good turnout. Katie and Tamara were there, but they weren't the only OC housewives or former housewives there, because we did get an appearance from Joe De La Rosa, who did get a shout out last night. You know, Tamara said they're friends. So Joe was there. And unfortunately, I don't know how I didn't see this coming, but my arch nemesis, John Jansen and Alexis Bellino, or Alexis Jansen, is she changing her name? I don't know. We're also there. And yeah.
I mean, John's going to go anywhere there's a party, right? Like for the most private man on earth, he just loves to be seen. So those newlyweds were there. Very interesting. I'm curious, did she recognize you?
Oh, I stayed far away from her, but I mean, it's a big venue, but it's not that big. So, you do kind of cross paths. I ignored her. Most people were actually ignoring her. I do have to say, some people did go take pictures with her. She was in like an Hervé Leger dress. I do have to say, she looks amazing. All of the wives look absolutely amazing. Super thin. Tamara's face snatched to the gods. I mean, it looks like she just has a permanent filter on 24/7. She looks great. Katie looks great. So naturally beautiful, Katie. So yeah, it was a fun night. Like I said, they did recognize me, but it was all in good fun. We took pictures together. We watched the reunion. Now, there wasn't a lot of commentary though throughout the reunion, which I was hoping for. I was really hoping to hear from Tamara, hear from Katie, while they aired. But I kind of think that they are a little bit, maybe watching what they say at the moment about, especially Katie. Like, we don't really know what her future is on the show. And they're not even having a panel at BravoCon this year. There is no Orange County panel. So I think they're kind of like, maybe have to be a little bit tight-lipped about what goes down. So, but
Yeah,
all
and
in all, it was a fun
it's
event.
interesting to see that Tamara and Katie have kind of bonded over becoming like the outcasts of the group. Because all of a sudden, like Tamra at the end of the season, it comes out, oh, she's been speaking to bloggers and leaking storylines. Now, of course, she denies it. Of course, like I said last week, I don't really see what the big deal is. Like, oh, she went to this restaurant with Heather and they got in a fight. Yeah, there were like dozens of people at that restaurant who saw this. So, not sure what the big deal is, but the cast seemed to think it was a big deal. So, they're kind of on the outs with people and they've kind of banded together, it looks like.
Yeah, at the event after the reunion, Tamara was like, "Thank you so much, Katie, for being there for me when I was bawling my eyes out at the end." So I'm assuming she may be talking about the end of the reunion. She was very upset, and apparently Katie was the only one there for her.
Mm.
And that's really what kind of like solidified their friendship. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see how long this lasts. Tamara does say she is loyal to a fault. So I don't know. Do you think this friendship between them will go the distance?
Time will tell. If we're looking at track records, I'm gonna say probably not, but, good for them for finding a friend when they need it.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the other attendees at the event did ask Katie whether she was going to be returning next season, and I think it's a question mark.
Yeah.
She doesn't really know. I mean, I don't think any of the wives know yet, but I think hers is definitely the biggest question mark. So we'll see what happens. But all in all, it was a fun event. Everybody loved Tamara and Katie. Whether you like them or not, they were grateful for the fan turnout and, nice to everyone. Obviously, I don't think Tamara's going to be a bitch if you show up at her event. But, she could have, sometimes we're not so nice to Tamara Judge, but I think, I don't know. I think, it's a show, guys. It's not that serious.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's get into the reunion. So, one thing I noticed right off the bat is we did not get the typical beginning of a reunion where Andy is going into everyone's dressing room and saying hi while they're getting their glam done and saying, who are you excited to talk to today? Who are you not excited to talk to today? What are you hoping to clear up? And that made me think, oh, I wonder if we're in for a good reunion because they must have so much to cover that like they couldn't even fit in the little green room visits that we normally get. Um, he just jumped right into it and it was like, okay, we're starting. It was a little bit jarring to me almost, but Katie was there. I think we talked previously about wondering if she was gonna be at the reunion the entire time or if they were gonna trot her in and out like a friend of because she was only in half the season. But she was there from the jump, so we'll see if she gets to stay out there. I feel like it's gonna be a little awkward once they get into things that, like, she literally was not a part of and wasn't even present for. I guess she'll just be sitting there looking pretty.
I mean, she is gorgeous, so if she, wants to do that, that's fine. Yeah, no, I'm happy to see that she is out there. I think she'll stay out there because we do have Gretchen coming in, later this episode. And yeah, I mean, I feel like she deserves to be out there. At the end of the day, she was a full-time housewife. We start to get some answers maybe about why she didn't, return the latter half of the season. I don't know. It's very weird. But, of course, he kind of goes down the line and Tamara makes it a point to say, I am not quitting today.
Right.
Even though she doesn't know what's coming. You know what I mean? Because they show that those final moments of the finale that we saw of, the ladies finding out about this leak or whatever from Tamara. Tamara doesn't know that's coming. So I don't know if we can hold her to saying that because it's possible that she will quit after we hear that or see that footage.
Right. The day is young, Tamara. Don't make such a bold statement that you can't hold yourself to. Okay, so you bring up a good point because when they filmed the reunion, isn't it true that, like, they hadn't seen that part of the last episode yet?
Correct. So before, I don't, maybe they showed this right before they kind of dove into the reunion. So it's kind of a flash forward of the women's reactions to them showing them that final like scene of, was it Shannon, Jen, and Gina finding out about the leak, on this phone call with whoever that Tamara leaked all this information to, right? They flash forward to the women's reactions showing that footage. So at this moment in time, the only people that know about this are Gina, Shannon, and Jen, who were
Jen.
there to see this. But yeah, nobody else knows. So they don't know it's coming.
Okay, so this yeah. And so Tamara doesn't know what they know. I feel like that Friends
No.
episode. They don't know that we know that they know. So you're right, and this could be the reason why she ends up in tears at the end of the
Oh, well,
reunion.
obviously, yeah. And I don't know. And then we get into, an update on Tamara. And was it just me, or I was like, am I watching last season's reunion? Is this the right reunion? Because she's like, I'm in therapy, I'm doing great. And it's like, isn't this the same story that we got last season? Yet I don't know. I don't really know if I recognized a change in her this past season. Andy sure didn't. He said that he did not think that she was much calmer this season. And let's get into like the Shannon versus Tamara of it all, because I did not like the way Tamara was treating Shannon at this reunion. I thought it was very uncalled for. Like, what has Shannon done that is so bad to Tamara for her to act so nasty towards her and like immature?
No, she was literally shutting Shannon down every single time Shannon opened her mouth. And you're right, it was completely immature. It was one of those like, nah, 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 or like sticking her tongue out. And I was trying to jog my memory too. Did I forget something? Like, I know that they weren't close this season, obviously, but I don't know what would prompt Tamara to be so on Shannon, like right from the get-go.
Yeah, I don't know either. Shannon said, oh, it's because I said your ego was big. Like, that's all Shannon can kind of remember doing to Tamara. So I don't know. It was very strange. And then, we get into the whole like how Shannon iced Katie out and like called whatever, Alex Baskin, the producer, to ice Katie out. And Tamara was like, you ice people out. And Shannon's like, I don't ice people out. Like, that's completely untrue. It never happened. And I just don't know where this is coming from. I know that Shannon and Katie had issues at the beginning of the season, but I never once thought it was Shannon's fault that Katie didn't return to the show after the middle of the season.
Well, because wasn't it when they were in, where did they go? New Orleans or something? And Shannon said, I don't want to film with Katie. And so Katie had to like change her plans for that day or something because Shannon didn't feel comfortable filming with her. So Katie's telling us, oh, you called Alex Baskin and said, I'm not comfortable filming with Katie. You need to give her orange to Gretchen. And Shannon says, that's simply untrue. And then Katie turns to Jen and says, Jen, back me up here. And Jen, once again, is like, I did not say this. And Katie's like, you're the one who told me this. Jen claims she never said this. Then Andy goes, I have Alex in my ear saying this never happened. So once again, we are seeing Katie just blatantly lie. Like, I don't
Well,
understand. I
she's
don't get
saying that
it.
she got this information from Jen, right?
She's saying that, but Jen looked completely caught off guard. And this isn't the first time where she's looked to Jen and said, back me up here. And Jen is like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, yes, you're right. One of them is lying. It could be Jen, it could be Katie. But like, it's just this weird pattern that seems to keep happening with Katie. It doesn't it's not like it happens with Jen and other people where they're like, "Jen, you were there. You told me this." And she's like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, we're just not seeing that same pattern with anyone else except for Katie. And
Well,
so
and well, I mean, it's kind of like that with the whole Gretchen naked wasted roofie thing too. Jen is the only other person in the room, and she can either be, advocate for Gretchen or advocate for Katie.
right.
And it's like, which one is it? It's just, yeah, I don't know. This definitely seems to be a pattern, and I I don't know who to believe. To be honest with you, I don't know who to believe.
I don't know
Somebody
who
is
to
trying
believe.
to protect themselves in this situation, and I can't tell who it is.
No, you're totally right. I will say, like, let's give credit where credit is due. Tamara Grudge, great clapback. Cannot believe it hasn't been used in the past because, like, it's sitting there right in front of our faces the last 20 years. Um, but yeah, I don't know who to believe, and then Andy's kinda saying, like he brings up the whole Heather and Emily talking about how they don't trust Tamra. Heather kind of not apologizes to Tamra, but she's like, "Listen, here's why, because I have seen you use information against people, and so that gives me pause, you know, whenever I am considering telling you something." And even Andy's like, "Yeah, you weaponize people's secrets against them." And Tamara's like, "When have I done that?"
Oh my God. And then like she goes on to like, is it now or later where she goes on to like list it's later when she's like, I don't dig up information. And then she's like, what about what you did in 2019 or whatever? He's like, yeah, just did it. Like
Yeah, yeah.
she is very hypocritical about what she says about herself. We've said this before. Just take accountability, just own it, just apologize, and don't like try to make excuses. You know what I mean?
The thing is, I think she thinks that she is owning it, and we do hear her apologize and take accountability, but then it's like she forgets so quickly, and then she just reverts back to her old ways. Like, she can only hold on to that, accountable self for so long before she just throws it out the window. Like, the second she gets triggered, it's all bets are off.
Totally. And it's just like so inconsistent. It's like you can't rely on her. Anything that she says, it's like you think she means it and she probably means it in the moment. But then, yeah, 2 seconds goes by and it's
Yeah.
just out the window. So,
And then her excuse is, "Well, I said that because I was pissed off." Well, that's not a good enough reason.
oh, Tamra, I
Listen,
mean,
we're all get pissed off a lot of times, okay? It doesn't mean that we just say whatever comes to mind, even if it's not true, like, especially if it's not true.
yeah, I know. And then what part was it like, oh, you admitted to just saying stuff like about somebody's affair? Was it like Ryan's affair or Jen's affair? Like she like admitted to just like making it up because she was pissed off.
I think it was
Yeah.
Jen.
So it's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't think she's ever going to change. I don't think she's ever going to change. But is the show pretty much like all about her at this point? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of revolves around her. But we did get a segment about Katie. She denies letting Alexis hear the recording of Shannon.
Right.
But Alexis has come out online saying that she did, in fact, hear the recording of Shannon. Who do you believe when it comes to Alexis versus Katie?
It is a tough one, but again, we have Katie in a situation where, she's saying something, in this case, didn't happen, and the other person is like, that absolutely happened. So it is hard for me to trust what Katie is saying as truth because we've just keep seeing this same pattern. Um, Alexis is certainly not my cup of tea. She is not my favorite housewife. I think she has many, many flaws. But why would she lie about this? Like, she wasn't even involved in this season. Like, she wasn't filming this season when it came out that Katie had filmed Shannon and played the recording for Alexis. So, like, what does Alexis have to gain?
Attention. I mean, let's be
Okay,
real.
fair.
She always wants attention for something or other, so it that doesn't surprise me. But yeah, it's still the inconsistencies are growing, the list, right? That
Mhm.
you're like, naming just this episode. Yeah, it's getting a little fishy, and to the point where now Jen is being accused of calling her a con artist. And Ryan was actually the one to back her up and be like, whoa, 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 like slow down. Like she's just new at this. Um, so is that just it? Is it just the fact that Katie doesn't really know how to move in this group with these women and like with all of the information going on around her?
Maybe, like, maybe she gets a little bit ahead of herself where she gets too far deep into something and doesn't know how to bail her way out. Um, but yeah, it's definitely interesting because Jen and Katie were really close after last season, their first seasons on together. And in between, Jen was like, I started to notice inconsistencies with the stories that you're telling me. And like, there's some red flags going up, and I'm starting to look at things a little bit differently. So yeah, but Katie is, she remains steadfast in her conviction that like she was being set up with this lie detector. And Emily is there saying, like, "I don't need a lie detector to know that you're lying." You know? "I did not find these people, production found these people. There's only a few people who administer these tests that are willing to go on camera," which is why I guess we've seen this man on several different shows. And, she's like, "Listen, I get it. They're not admissible in court. They're 80 whatever percent accurate, but, like, the fact that she failed pretty much every question, it's a little striking because no one else did."
I know, but it's still just so weird. That whole thing is so weird. Like, even Andy did admit that it's like, look, like Emily didn't set this up, production set this up. And when they flash back and Katie's like, give me a lie detector test. It's like, oh, okay. So she kind of walked herself into this. I didn't really realize that. Um, I just don't know. It's just all too fishy for me. Like, the fact that all roads are leading to Katie being guilty and Katie being a liar and stuff, like I don't know. I really do find it hard to believe. I don't that everything is leading back to that being, the truth. And maybe it's I don't want to accept it. I don't know. Maybe it's, she got caught up and didn't have any, ill will behind it, but yeah, it's just there's a lot of evidence pointing to it, I guess.
I hear what you're saying because it is almost a little bit too easy and, like, neat and tidy to just say, "Oh, it's this person. They're the problem, and we just need to eliminate the problem." It's a little too, like, tied up in a bow, but I think there's at least some truth to it.
Yeah,
Uh,
but let's be
yeah.
real. Even if Katie is problematic, she's not the only problematic one on this cast because a lot of the other women have problems. And I think the queen of problematic in this cast is Gretchen Rossi. I mean, she has a lot of problems tied to her as well. A lot of lies coming out of her
Mhm.
mouth about situations from the other women. So why isn't she getting like the same flack? I think it's just so just uneven, like it's a double standard. If you're going to treat Katie like this, you got to treat everybody else like this too.
It's definitely a fair point. Either Gretchen plays the game better or people just like her more inherently. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know, but you're right. Um, Speaking of Gretchen, we do get, a little update. First of all, the hair, Gretchen, the hair. It just it doesn't move. Okay? We see her getting her glam for a second and I'm like, "Put the hairspray down." Like, I'm sure that gentleman is a lovely hairstylist. You need to step away from the hairspray. When they showed Gretchen from, like, that three-quarter view, and it was just piled on top of her head, not dissimilar from Teresa Giudice's wedding look, okay? There was at least 5 pounds of extensions piled on top of her head, and, like, nothing moved, and I just wanna be like, Gretchen, like, tone it down just a hair. Literally
She
a
she
hair.
she walks literally a hair. She walks out on that stage and they cannot hold their lips for 2 seconds before they talk about her dress and talk about every look that she wore this season. They're like, yeah, it's unique. It's giving costume. And like Andy, he doesn't hold back. He's like, girl, you're looking like John Benet Ramsey today. Like
No,
it's
Tamara said that. Okay, I actually did have a problem with that comment. I thought that was so insensitive and unnecessary. Like, I'm sorry, but you cannot use a child who was brutally murdered, like, as a comparison or as a punchline. Like, I thought that was gross, and it was Tamara that said it, not Andy.
well, he
And
agreed.
okay, well, shame on both of them because I thought that was really distasteful.
Okay, well, I don't know the lore behind or history but behind John Benet Ramsey, but
Okay,
um
Kim, get yourself to
RIP.
get
Hey,
yours.
I'm not a true crime girly, sorry.
Okay. This was true crime before the true crime genre was even a thing. This was like held news headlines across the country, across the world, even for, months. But do yours like we'll talk about it after this, but it's a
Okay.
very, very tragic story.
Okay, I will educate myself on this. But we are also educated on both Gretchen and Slade's
Uh-huh.
careers at this moment.
Yeah.
So we learned that Gretchen actually likes to say that she is in digital marketing,
Mhm.
which is a very interesting way to say that you're an Instagram influencer. It's not incorrect, but it is definitely like putting it at a different level. But hey, if she can make her coin doing Instagram posts, more power to her. What's more surprising though is that we learn what Slade does. And I saw some info about this online this morning that had me cackling. First of all, she says that Slade is a consultant.
Right. For
Consultant of
what?
what?
For what?
For what? Like consultant of what?
Name
Do
them.
we know?
Wasn't he when we initially met Slade when he was with Joe and drove that god awful, horrendous, like, obnoxious yellow Hummer, wasn't he in real estate or something?
Who knows? I mean, it's like he can't when he does land a job, it doesn't seem like he can keep it for very long.
But
She
yeah,
also shares.
she didn't say what he was consulting for.
No, she did not. And then she also goes on to say that his other job is being on the Liberace Foundation board. Now, of course, the Bravo sleuths are going to look into this one.
Mhm. And?
And the Liberace Foundation board members are volunteer board members. They are
Mhm.
not paid. This is not a job. Do you have to commit your time to this? Sure. Is this a job? Is this a way that he earns income for their household and their family? No. So why is Gretchen naming this, telling this to Andy when he's asking, how does Slade make money? Does Slade make money?
Right.
It
Not even
like
necessarily how, but does.
Yeah. So it's further proof that he does not contribute to this household, and their Newport Beach lifestyle is solely funded on Gretchen Rossi's Instagram posts.
And listen, if that's how it is and she is happy with that, then fine. Like, you know, I'm a feminist. If the roles are reversed and like she's the breadwinner and he takes care of their daughter and everything and like that's great. But just say that. Don't pretend that he has a job or like pretend that he's earning income if he's not, you know? Like I'd rather her just say he's focusing on our daughter right now.
Yeah, and then we learn Tamara brings up, okay, so he had trouble getting a job. Is it because he was arrested? And
Right.
I think I had the same thought as you, like arrested for what?
I don't remember ever hearing about this. When did this happen? What was it for? I need the details.
Yeah, if you guys know, like, drop it in the comments below. I do consider myself a Bravo expert. Sorry, don't yell at me. I don't remember this happening. Did it have something to do with maybe,
Child
child,
support.
yes, child support payments or something like that? Because we know that he's very behind on those. He did not pay them in full on time at all. So maybe it had something to do with that.
That was my thought too, and I'm curious when this happened because Tamara's point is, so you told me that he hasn't been able to get a job for the last 12 years because I said something about him on a podcast. Are you sure it had nothing to do with him being arrested? And
Yeah.
yeah,
And Gretchen is like, no, I didn't say that. I didn't mean it. Like,
right.
roll footage. That is what you said. You said straight to Tamara's face that Slade had trouble getting a job because of what she said about him.
Right.
And now it's just excuse after excuse. And then naming jobs that aren't jobs. Like, it's just like nothing about them adds up at all.
Yeah, it's definitely fishy. Um, we've seen a lot of FBI cases come out of the Bravo and Housewives world lately. And I'm gonna say I don't wish this on them, but I would not be surprised if at some point there was some investigation because I don't know if based
Ooh.
on her influencer posts and everything, if they're really able to like live the lifestyle they live from that. Maybe I'm wrong.
Housewives finances are a major question mark. She's not alone in the housewives that we, often wonder how they live the lifestyle that they live.
Mhm.
So yeah. And then, we kind of end this part with Gretchen and Tamra. Of course, they bring up the song and, they basically say that Gretchen actually brought up the song at a former, event that was filmed for the show like years ago. So it's like she had this in her back pocket. She was ready to bring it up. And this is when Tamara gets called out, like, because Gretchen keeps digging up shit from the past. And Tamara's like, I don't do that. And Andy's like, well, and she's like, well, how about what you did 2 years ago? And he's like, well, okay, there it is.
Right.
So it's just tit for tat with them. I don't think it will ever be any different, but I don't know. I don't like hearing from Gretchen. I don't like seeing Gretchen. If I had to choose between Tamara and Gretchen, I'm choosing Tamara. It's like the lesser of two evils. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just always going to be tit for tat with them. I don't think they'll ever be able to resolve their issues. And I just don't want to see this ongoing feud like for years to come. I'm already over it.
No, totally. I'm really curious to see if Gretchen comes back or if she, you know, is the next Alexis Bellino, where like they brought someone from the past back onto the show and it just didn't go as planned and she exits stage left.
No, that's what we need to see. We need to see a one and done. It was a good try, good effort on production's part. But next season is season 20, and we're going to have to up our game a bit. We said it last week, something has to change. Part 2, we have coming next week, and we have Matt Janella joining the stage.
Mhm.
And what this kind of sparked in my brain was, we're having Matt here and not Slade. It's like when they were showing Gretchen getting ready, they're like, is Slade joining? And she's like, no. And it's like, I'm calling bullshit on this one. Like, you mean to tell me that Matt was invited and chose to come and Slade politely declined the invitation to be on that reunion couch? Like, something is fishy. He doesn't want to answer the questions that Andy and the women have for him. I think he knows he will be in the hot seat, obviously.
Mhm.
He stirred up a lot of shit this season. And the fact that he's not willing to go out and sit on that couch behind Gretchen actually says a lot to me.
Now listen, was I elated to hear that he wasn't coming? Absolutely.
Oh,
I don't
of
want to see
course.
that man. I don't want to see him. But you are absolutely right in that we're going to miss out on a lot of interaction and getting to the bottom of Roofiegate and, Matt saying he's on three-way calls. I wonder if Ryan's coming. Or is Matt the
Yeah,
only other significant other?
this is true. I mean, he wasn't really involved with I guess he was at that dinner though. So it would be, interesting to hear from him, but he's gonna follow Jen's lead. I don't think he's gonna open his mouth or gonna say, I don't remember.
Right.
So it'd probably be pointless. But yeah, I think we're gonna get into Roofiegate next week. We're gonna have Gretchen and Katie go. I kind of like how they're breaking up, all the drama that Katie caused this season, so we can keep her on that couch for all 3 parts. So yeah, I guess that's it for this week. I actually don't think we'll be back next week because we will actually be in Las Vegas for BravoCon.
Yay.
Whooping it up with the Bravo Lebs, with all of you guys. We are so excited, but we'll be back at some point, right after BravoCon to catch you guys up on everything that happened during the weekend. We'll talk about, all the shows and everything that was announced. Lisa, what are you looking forward to most at BravoCon this year?
Oh my God. Honestly, all of it. Like, I don't get out much. So just going and being amongst people who just love this as much as I do, like to me, that was the most fun. It's just the energy in every single room and every panel. Everyone's just happy to be there and like just living their dreams, living their best lives. The Bravo Lebs are also like whooping it up. They're having fun. It's not one of those cases where celebrities are like reluctant to engage, reluctant to take pictures, reluctant to talk to people. They're loving it, So it's just a big Bravo love fest. And I can't wait. I've been working on my outfits for weeks. So, I hope they all turn out.
Weeks, months, girl. I'm in the same boat. I think I have them figured out. I do have a few more options coming next week. So, yeah, but like you said, you can literally turn to the right or turn to the left and like just strike up a conversation with anybody and you're like instant best friends. It's just, you have that Bravo love in common and it's just so fun. So again, if you guys are going, let us know in the comments, DM us at Lisa Not Rinna and at Bravo Breaking News. And yeah, follow us for all of the updates and let us know what you thought of the episode too in the comments.
Thank you guys so much for listening and watching, and we will see you next week. Maybe?
See you next week. We'll see you next time. How about that?
Sounds good.